So we've had a really interesting debate today, I think, with a good group of professional advisors, PE, ourselves, and I think the theme of confidence in the market has come through very strongly. The private equity guys are very confident in their scale. I think overall the market feels quite buoyant. And our learning is almost for the SME community to be confident in themselves, to really recognise their skills, recognise what they have to offer, but also recognise the need to take it further. And remember that they are entrepreneurs and take a little bit of risk and take themselves through the next stage in their journey.
Yeah, I think, and just further to that really, I think the debate around Northwest to London, absolutely, I think we've all seen that the Northwest is on a journey, and it's a journey that we're actually, I think, coming really to terms with. And over the last 5 years, that war for talent, just to use a phrase, we are slowly but surely winning it. I think where they saw the gaps, and there are gaps, is around people with international skill set. There are less of those available in the Northwest, and that's something that we need to solve. I mean, that's something we have to work hard on. And I think in terms of the presentation, again, just to further the point of the SME within the Northwest, actually being able to have a voice, I think that's going to be very important moving forward. And that again comes from how you present yourself and how you can present yourself as a business, and the fact that there are businesses out there who are growing 20-30% that probably aren't known as well as they should be across the UK as a whole. I mean, if they were in London they would be, and because they're here they're not. So it's about how you actually get that message across, I suppose, and how you work that message.
So movements and concepts around issues like the Northern Powerhouse, that's only going to be a good thing for this region, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think one of the points was accessibility, and I think in Manchester we've got accessibility already, but this is about connectivity with the rest of the north. And I think the guys sat around the table, many of them who are doing deals in Newcastle and in the northeast, and that accessibility currently isn't there. And the key piece we were all talking about was east to west. Not necessarily shaving off 40 minutes of the journey to London is going to be really adding that much value to the north of Manchester. What will add a lot of value is when we connect east to west and enable our talent to thrive up here and probably not suffer a little bit of brain drain as people actually see the hour and 20 means it easier to go from Manchester to London rather than London to Manchester, if that makes sense.
And I think in the Northern Powerhouse there's a real issue of scale, and it gives the Northwest that edge against any other region to fight against London, because scale is so beneficial to us. It's how organisations have the marketplace to thrive and brings the talent pool together to thrive. And that interconnectivity, that access across all the north is going to really support that scale, and scale is how we'll flourish, I think.
And finally, just one last question: which sectors are you seeing the most challenge around recruitment? You mentioned international, but are there any particular sectors where you feel the region's almost at pinch point?
Yeah, I think certainly it came out there for a very strong message around tech, and we're doing a lot in that space, particularly around businesses that are moving from a hardware model to probably a software SaaS-based model. It's a really exciting involvement, and there's a little bit about around the entrepreneurs now having the confidence to do that, but I think the skill set in Northwest is weaker than it would be elsewhere, and that's where there is a pinch point challenge and something that needs to be resolved. And we are doing a lot of work to find talent outside the Northwest that wants to return or sees the Northwest now as a great place to live. And I think the positive side for the Northwest is it is a great place to live and do business.
I think the Northwest has got an awful lot going for it, and actually generally we can provide solutions to most problems, leadership problems, from within the Northwest or from within our access to candidates for whom the Northwest is an attractive destination. But sector-wise, technology is pressing for us in the larger businesses, and it's probably that point more than sector, sheer scale of businesses, where the Northwest just hasn't got as many large businesses, and maybe it's that's a more challenging issue at the leadership side rather than sector itself.